tears aren't coming. The tears just aren't coming.
Okay.
Just to be clear, it looks like he's dead or he is dead.
It just looks like he's dead. He's got, like, blue paint on him or something. But he's going to be fine.
What is wrong with you?
Doctor!
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and today I've got an interesting topic. We're going to be talking about spoiler warning. There is a spoiler image for Batman 3 Jokers. Obviously, later today I will have a review here on the channel. We're going to be talking about the spoiler that came out within the last few days. And, you know, are spoilers, are leaks good for the industry? Are they bad for comics? Do they just piss you off in general, or do they not bother you much at all? Joining me is Yule Carter from Fantastic Comics. We haven't seen you here on the channel for a while. You know, I guess you had some business to take care of. We weren't able to do our conversation last week.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's been pretty busy, but thanks for having me on anyway, Chief. Very happy to be here to talk about this.
Oh, you're going to be calling me Chief before this is over. Yeah.
Call me Chief.
I love the Roman Reigns. I love the Roman Reigns heel turn. That's the best thing going on in wrestling. Well, at least in the WWE. So
pretty good.
Before we get into all the details, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoy this. Give us a thumbs down if you don't. Now, let's get into business. So here's the image, and hopefully this doesn't upset anybody. I have said spoiler warning. I'm going to show this image. It's going to show a moment from Batman 3 Jokers. Obviously, I'll be talking about it later this evening. But this is kind of what came out on social media, and we see Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, kissing Jason Todd Red Hood within the pages of Batman 3 Jokers. Obviously, this is a new development. Barbara Gordon, typically in the past, if she's been romantically involved with a Bat family character, it has been Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Does this upset you? Do you think this is worthy of being upset? It seems like it would have been a big reveal in the comic. And I'm sure that Jason Fabok and Jeff Johns would have preferred that viewers would have seen this for the first time in the pages of the comic.
Well, if this is like a major plot point, yeah, you probably don't want it to be revealed necessarily. If this is a moment that's happening that's going to get people excited about it, it's already a really hot series, so you didn't really need to do anything like that. But who's the one spoiling this?
I just saw him on. It was on Twitter.
Yeah, so this stuff obviously does happen. It is a pretty, monumental moment. Barbara Gordon is moving on, if you will. It makes sense. They both have a shared experience with the Joker thrashing them pretty significantly. So for people that share a trauma to get together, I don't think that's necessarily uncommon. So I think you Dick Grayson Marks might want to just hold off if you're upset about that.
Also in the last issue, we did see that Jason Todd Red Hood did take out righteous retribution on the Joker that essentially killed him in Death in the Family. Batgirl, she had an interesting reaction to it. It appears that it will lead to a romantic encounter, perhaps a rendezvous, if you will. This stuff doesn't bother me personally. Just as a reader, as a consumer of entertainment, even as a YouTuber, this doesn't bother me. It's whatever. When people would talk about, Game of Thrones spoilers, obviously, I was in the Philippines for the last season. Whatever, spoil away. It doesn't bother me very much. But I do think the only thing that it pisses me off kind of about this is that people that it does bother with spoilers throwing something like this into something like Twitter where you cannot kind of filter out, either you follow who you follow and it shows up. Unless it's a muted word or something.
Yeah, it's upsetting a little bit. I would hope that people, especially when it comes to live television, realize that people on the West Coast don't get to watch it for 3 hours. So, there's spoiling, and then there's just being inconsiderate. You know what I mean? Hopefully, if this is one of those leaks, it's out there so that, it can drum up some interest. Again, 3 Jokers is pretty popular already. Doesn't really need it. But, it could be an excited fan that just But even still, now you're bordering on inconsiderate because it's not even released in the country. And what are you, a person that works in a shop that got it? What are you, a person that got it leaked to you by knowing the artist that got it? You know, were they entrusting you with a little bit of security so that it wouldn't go out there right now? So spoiling, inconsiderate. There's been times when spoilers have really affected my sales. Well, this is more when I was working at this other store. When Captain America died, it got released, or the information got released right before, like the day before the comic came out. So it's not like it was,
Same thing
you had a lot of, right. Well, the thing is that,
I guess they announced that was the name of the story.
Yeah, that was the name of the story. But Captain America dying, we didn't know this was going to happen. And we had our normal numbers. And, you put them out on the shelf. And, some people get stuff held. But then you find out that everybody's hot for this thing because of Newsweek or whatever. And they're coming in and buying Captain America. And you turn around and your regular customers maybe don't have that opportunity to buy this super hot book because they had to go and spoil it. If you're just going to, to what it was already going to sell, you know what I mean? You already had by the 25th issue of a comic book, especially when it comes to like Captain America, you pretty much know what you sell. And unless the company lets you know that something significant is happening, or you can, maybe are friends with maybe the writer or the artist of something, and you find out about it, you can adjust your numbers properly. But, things like this, I already am locked into my Batman 3 Jokers numbers. And if people are going to come in and get outraged and buy it, I'm going to have a lot less than I, originally had, ordered.
So does that put you in a kind of a pickle as a comic book retailer? We've talked about it here on the channel before, where people, will fulfill our pull list, but we're going to take all the other, those aren't going on the shelf at cover price. We're going to throw another cover price on because it's a first appearance that we didn't know was going to be coming out. It's a hot comic, maybe Robin King showing up for the first time or something of that nature, and all of a sudden, the comic book is trending on eBay or something, $30. Does that put you in a weird spot where technically you are a business owner, you're supposed to make money, but you're also there to serve your customer base? Does it put you in a spot where you're like,
I ordered the same amount of that Legends of the Death Metal book or whatever as I did the guidebook and all the other ones. And I have not sold any of those over cover price, just to let you know. But what I'll do is I will pull them for the customers that don't know that they want it. So the death metal people, put it in their polls already if they hadn't already requested it. And then I will leave a couple up on the shelf to see who's a speculator as opposed to who's a real purchaser. And then the other ones are usually set aside so that I can sell them to my normal customers. I have to service the followers of Fantastic Comics first. If you are a new customer, it's still available to you. It's just not it's just not out like crazy. And that's how I usually do it. I don't upcharge it. I would never upcharge it in the store unless it was something I off-racked. That's when I do it. I have a.
What about the variant covers? Is the 1 in 25?
Variant covers are a different situation. We all accept
different,
that.
Right?
Well, a lot of times the variant covers, might not charge, might not tick up the price, but what I'll do is I'll hold them aside for the customers that were, let's say, Ten of Swords, since that's the big one right now. Or someone that came in and specifically requested all of the Alex Ross Timely covers. I might pull the rest of them aside for another customer of mine that might really dig it, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. That's just personal. I have a personal connection with these people. I know what they like. I know this one customer doesn't like covers that have words on them. Me personally, as a shop owner, that's the worst cover you could ever have of a comic book. I need the words on it. So he gets he gets the DC variants if he gets the comic book. So that's kind of what he does. So this is what it's all about. You buy these comic books for all these people. You think that there might be other people. Oh, you like cosplay covers of Vampirella? I'll make sure to get them. It has nothing to do with I like it or not. I know there's a customer that cares about it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, by the end of the day, you have all these Vampirella covers. And then some spoiler comes out and ruins something that's going on in Vampirella. Batman doesn't get married. And then you're like,
well,
oh,
let's
damn.
talk about that. Let's talk about the leaks from DC. I don't believe this was a leak from DC when we're talking about the three Jokers. It looks like somebody that had an advanced copy. Potentially, you know, they took a picture, sent to their friend, like, ooh, this is spicy. Next thing you know, It gets on the internet. But when you talk about Batman 50 and the wedding that didn't happen, and people were throwing wedding parties, you know, but DC Comics were essentially we're encouraging shops to do. Go buy a wedding cake. Go have a midnight opening. You should do a Batman wedding shower. And then you find out, you know, a couple days earlier when it's leaked, not even to a comic book publishing website. Can't even keep it within the industry. You got to go leak that to somebody else. And they basically screwed you over out of your sales. Or when we think about the Bataway, Batman Damned #1, the very first issue from DC Black Label, when we got the first appearance of Bruce Wayne's member. Now, all of a sudden, you know, Batman 50, not knowing that the Batman wedding didn't happen, killed enthusiasm and interest on that title, was no longer really a collectible, which people were kind of ordering it as, and people were planning on buying it as. They were going to get all the covers and all that stuff. Then we got the Batawang. People didn't know there was going to be a first appearance ever. And we also, on top of that, we find out that it was kind of a mistake. They're not happy about it. And they're never going to reprint it again. So now it's like a limited edition. Whatever's out there is out there, and that's all you can get. And all of a sudden, interest in that comic is like through the roof. So, you know, in one hand, it's great. In the other hand, it's awful because it stuck you with the bill.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you want to take a little bit of an opportunity on that Batman Damned and be like, well, they kind of fucked me over with Batman 50. Maybe it's time to upcharge and get some of that money back.
Yeah, well, again, Batman Damned, I don't think maybe like one or two I had you know, maybe some customers didn't pick up their polls and I was a little quicker at pulling them out. You know, delinquents, beware. This will happen eventually. If you're delinquent, that's when I'm making up for something. Like, you haven't picked up your polls in a while and I can sell this comic of yours. You got to be really nice to me and pick up everything if you're going to get all your Thors. You know what I mean? Because those are hot books right now. You haven't picked up your Venom in 7 months? Those are on eBay already. No, I don't do that, but you know, it goes through your mind. And there are stores that would probably do that. I've sold a couple Batman Damned at expensive prices, not obscene. Most of them were sold at cover price. Most of them sold out pretty quick, and I'm happy. Yeah, usually I'm happy when it happens.
That was going to be the hottest comic book, you know, potentially in 2018, you know, or at least one of the hottest comic books, probably the top 5, just because all of a sudden it's limited edition. You know, whatever they printed was what you got. They're never going to do it again. But a Batman 50, everyone orders, you know, 5 times normal, you know, for racking everything. Everyone's going to get all the covers. And now it's saying, you know, they release that information. They completely screw over all their business partners being the retailer.
Yeah, I mean, the Batman 50 didn't hurt me personally. I have some left over. And I price them up now. So if it were to sell, it's going to make me more money than it would have then. But for the most part, I did okay on that because it was a 50th issue. You know, you want to buy those anyway as a store. Centennial issues, these are where your fans, like, if you're a lapsed fan and you're like, oh, you know, I was reading ROM. And I dropped out on the 18th issue, but here's this double-sized 25th issue. I'll pick that up. And if it goes long enough to get to 50, I might not have read all of them, but I might read that one. And, you know, those usually sell a little bit better. They're usually the ones that are a character might be introduced in, or something significant happens, like Batman didn't get married. Whew. Talk about dodging the biggest bullet of his life there. He should have been, all the other issues should have been him going out and partying and having a great time.
Do you think the publishers, DC, Marvel, even Image or whatever, should they be notifying retailers when there's first appearances or there's going to be a significant milestone within the comic? Just so you know how to order. And it feels like it's kind of screwed over a lot of retailers, and in the end, kind of screwed over a lot of readers. Because all of a sudden, a comic book is hot. It's the first appearance of Robin King. Your retailer didn't know about that. All of a sudden, some speculator, collector comes in, buys all the comics, and now your customer doesn't have access to them.
Right.
Because you didn't know that you need to order big.
It's probably better to know who's running Key Collector is probably really what's best.
Oh yeah, they always got a few days ahead of time. Yeah.
Come in with this is what people who look at Key Collector on their phone apps do in the store, and they're looking at their phone and they're looking at this comic. Is this hot? Is this the first appearance of some lame character that nobody's going to care about 20 years from now? He might be in the next TV show for a minute. Oh man, all of a sudden I care about a Ron Friends Thor. What? Give me a break. But no,
Johnny Cage is revisiting the origins of this sword that they introduced 25 years ago.
Exactly. No, I mean that would be. It would be nice, but I bet store owners would bitch if they bought too many and were like, "Oh, that character sucked."
Wasn't as hot as I anticipated.
Not as hot as I anticipated, exactly.
Why don't you just give me some rope while you're at it?
Look, the people that buy extras are the people that buy extras, and the stores that buy extras are the stores that buy extras. And you're lucky if you can go to a store and they have everything out on the shelf. You're lucky if you go to a store and you have anything other than Marvel and DC out on the shelf. There's a lot of places that don't have Image or Antarctica. I mean, that's probably, Image to Antarctica right there.
Antarctic.
Antarctic, I mean. Yeah, I'm so familiar that I forget. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Boom.
Like spoilers, just as a reader personally, I don't mind them at all. I can see how it does. I can see how it would piss people off if you don't like spoilers and people put that stuff on social media, no warning, where there's no way you can avoid it. I do think that part of it's kind of bullshit. Like you're kind of being an asshole. You're on social media and you're posting that information, or you're forwarding.
Right.
And you're kind of screwing your friends up.
You kind of are. I mean, there's again. Are you legitimately excited and you just couldn't contain yourself and you didn't realize? You know what you are doing in your heart when you do that, and only you can look yourself in the mirror that way. How dare you? But I'll judge you, let me tell you. Especially if it hurts my sales.
Yeah. You would hope the publishers would look out for the retailers, like, hey, Ghostmaker first appearance, Punchline first appearance. These big characters that they're introducing are these big concepts. Obviously, there's a lot of hot Thor, there's a lot of hot Venom, there's a lot of hot Batman right now. There's a lot of speculation going on actually in the industry. That's probably the hottest thing going. It feels like there's been a lot of collectors and speculators kind of coming into the market. They're kind of changing the way it operates right now. And I do feel for retailers, but you also have to look out for your customers. But you got to make money. It's catch-22,
Yeah, it can be very exciting dealing with people that want to speculate. I actually think it's fun. When I was a kid, my father bought multiple comics that I actually still have that I sell in my store. And they're in great condition, just to let you know. But, it was fun. It was fun, taking care of the books and, you get all the number ones. Maybe if you like the series, you keep going on, and that's when the extra introduction of characters come in. If I knew as a retailer going forward, I might order, maybe every retailer orders more, and that's great for the comic book store or publisher also. But that doesn't necessarily make the secondary market and the speculators happy, because you want to get something that nobody else has. Yeah, exactly. So Me personally, I would rather do it like I would go and get my comic book and I'd realize it for myself that I enjoy this. And maybe if it was something I really enjoyed, I'd go and get another copy of it or two. But, someone telling me that something's important because they were introduced in a comic that just came out, give me a break. Relax. That character's not dead for real, you know.
Oh yeah.
Captain America's not going to stay dead. Batman's not going to stay not married. Oh wait, maybe he will. But it'll be like, don't worry, it's not going to really hurt, your speculation or the value of your comic. You can still come in and get it. It is sad when the spoiler hurts people's feelings to the point where they don't pick up the book, though. And a major backfire, obviously.
Yeah, well, let's do less Batman 50 and more Batawang. Bruce Wayne's member. So, all right, Yul, thanks for coming on the channel. I enjoy having you back. This is a fun topic to talk about. I guess next time we talk, we're going to be talking about which comic book characters have the greatest set of stories of all time. Like, who has the best great list of stories? We've been talking, throwing ideas around Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men trying to come in there. And I think we're gonna debate that one next week here on the channel.
It sounded more Spider-Man versus Batman is really what it came down to.
Well, I think X-Men should be in there too, but I think you're a Spider-Man, Mark, and we're gonna have to duke it out.
Very good. I will wear my sunglasses for this one. Or that
Absolutely. Yul will be in the house next week to try and he's gonna set me straight that Spider-Man has the best set of stories of all times as far as classic stories, and I think it's Batman. We should have a fun time with that one. Like I said, Yul, thanks for joining me on the channel. Had a lot of fun. If you enjoy Yul and what he has to say, he has his own YouTube channel called Fantastic Comics. There's a link in the video description. There's also an icon on the screen right now. You can select that, go to his channel, subscribe that way. Loves comics, great dude, and I highly recommend it.
Thanks for having me on, man. Chief.
Chief. You will call me Chief.